Hi, my name's Jane Barrick, and I'm passionate about adult education and lifelong learning. I'm also the creator of a membership community called the Adult Learning Hub, an exclusive space for adult educators and adult learning professionals around the world to more confidently navigate our new world of work together. As adult educators, trainers, facilitators, and instructors, we find ourselves operating in unprecedented times, the golden age of learning, so to speak, requiring us to have greater agility, resourcefulness, and enthusiasm towards learning itself. In this podcast series, I ask big questions like how do we navigate our new world of work more confidently and in a more informed and flexible way? How do we sustain our practice long term? And what are the stories, experiences, and ideas behind what we do and how we do it? I'm so glad that you're here. Let's get into today's episode. I've always been terrible at following directions or orientating myself to a new city. I have such a deep love of travel and a curiosity for other cultures, as well as having spent many of my formative years living and working around Asia. You'd think that I'd feel somewhat comfortable navigating unknown places. But the truth is, when I travel, if I don't have strategies for myself in finding my way or a plan to orientate myself to a new city, I flounder. I'm distracted and I worry. And no matter how many times anyone tells me to head west or go north, I will always rely on that weird looking landmark that tells me I'm going, hopefully, in the right direction. Maybe you can resonate. I can recall moments when I was traveling around Asia in my early 20s. I would rely on the kindness of strangers who I often didn't share the same language with to help me where I needed to go. I would be in a remote area like Tibet or in the Philippines with bad phone reception and no clue of how to get around. But somehow using hand gestures, eye contact, and a smile that got me where I needed to go. And I would find myself in my desired destination or a completely new one that I wasn't expecting, but it would always be an adventure. Now, similarly, this takes me back to those early days when I was training international language teachers who arrived to China. And not only were they navigating a new country, but they were attempting to learn how to teach a language to adults who they shared little in common with and knew little about. As their trainer who went on a similar journey, I was given a pre-assigned set of outcomes, and I somehow needed to get through our training sessions together upon their arrival. But I noticed that there were many invisible factors that were impacting their ability to learn and feel confident in a new role in this foreign country. I felt as though I was caught between these two worlds, answering their questions informally in between our training sessions and trying to stay on track with my curriculum in order to make sure I was doing their job and hopefully giving them some confidence to perform their roles once they arrived to their teaching centers. I noticed that they were often preoccupied with things such as food safety. Could they drink the water or not? Where they were going to live after they needed to move out of their company-sponsored hotel? Could they trust their real estate agent who was helping them find an apartment? They had worries about getting taken advantage of at local markets and not being able to ask for directions in Mandarin. There was a kind of complex interplay of components that were impacting my practice when I look back on it as their trainer and their experience as newly arrived teachers in this foreign country. We were all in the same room together for a designated period of time and were given a set of objectives to accomplish, like how to give better instructions or how to teach a certain concept. However, given our respective roles, them as my trainees and me as their trainer, we were all navigating challenges that we felt we couldn't talk about because of our strict time frame for training and the pre-assigned objectives to get through. I also couldn't Google the answer to the challenges I was experiencing at the time. I didn't have a large group of peers who I could call upon for insight or strategies. I also felt as though I didn't have the authority or leverage to ask my supervisor to change the curriculum to adjust for some of the concerns and challenges I saw my teachers experiencing. I just had to navigate the situation on my own. Later, I went to study adult education as a discipline, and I gained experience in a number of different contexts in my career, and I was establishing myself professionally as an educator of adults. I developed strategies for myself and learned to navigate the sometimes complex scenarios I find myself in. And I joined professional organizations, and I started to feel more confident about my practice. And yet my own experience was something that I kept coming back to. I often looked at the journals that I kept from early on in teaching, and I asked myself, why didn't I take them more seriously? Why didn't I use my own experience to inform what I did with the adult learners who I was tasked with? Despite being more established later in my career, I was still coming up against challenges, whether it was internal politics or nuanced situations that I felt were unique to me as an adult learning professional. I wish I had others like me at the time to learn from, to share experience with. Instead, as instructors, we sometimes find ourselves grabbing at straws for anything that might help. I also think during COVID, we've had to significantly rely on whatever internal resources we can muster when working with adult learners online or navigating change during these unprecedented times. What if we could all more confidently navigate the challenges we find ourselves in? Why don't we listen to our own experience more and pay attention to it and use it? What if we had the mindset and the strategies and a community that we could talk to? I think this would be an amazing tonic for developing ourselves and our practice. In today's day and age, the settings that adult educators work in, they are wide and diverse. Whether you train new police recruits in a small town in America, or you teach adults in further or higher education in the UK, or you're an online course creator who lives in Denmark, or you're even a health professional who advocates for client learning. When we work with adult learners, our own experience and the experience of our peers are our greatest living textbook. And it makes sense to me that during the pandemic, how communities of practice have emerged during this time, because we want to share our stories. We want to share our ideas in these safe spaces and this corner of the world that we're carving out for ourselves. For me, that's why I'm so excited about the Adult Learning Hub and the Adult Learning Hub community. If you're listening to this podcast and you are an educator of adults, you play an important role in instigating change, not only for your learners, but your organizations as well. And it's important that we all pay attention to our experience and we listen to it. And we spend time perhaps journaling and asking ourselves important questions about what's the story that's being formed here? What's the narrative that's emerging? What's exciting about this time is that we no longer need to rely on ourselves. And we also don't need to spend time Googling solutions to challenges. Although I know during COVID, many of us have Googled questions that we never thought we'd be Googling the answers to. In the Adult Learning Hub community, to better navigate these crazy and unprecedented times, we have a solution. We have a map in the form of our monthly themes and weekly calendar of activities designed to enhance our practice and grow our confidence in our evolving world of work. We also have travel partners, aka our supportive members or hubbers, who we can share our stories, experiences, and ideas with. And we have a vehicle in the Adult Learning Hub to take us on a journey to develop a more informed and flexible approach that meets the needs of the diverse learners that we serve. I love a metaphor, and travel metaphors are the best. And so when it comes to navigating our new world of work, who is your community or communities that you rely on? How are you sharing your experience? And where are you storing this knowledge so that you can use it in the future and be better informed in your practice? I'm so curious to hear about the challenges you experience as an adult learning professional. Send me an email at jane@theadultlearninghub.com and get in touch with me and tell me what challenges you faced. I might have you as a guest. I'd love to hear your story. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Adult Learning Hub podcast, and I'm looking forward to having you soon again. Take care and have a great day. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure you subscribe. And if you're an adult learning professional looking for a community of like-minded peers where we can all navigate a new world of work together more confidently, come and join us. Go to theadultlearninghub.com for more information on membership opportunities.